Hello, Lana.
Hello, Brian.
Welcome to the Black and White Show with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. You and I could probably have a show. We were having a show before this even started. We're just sitting there yapping away, and next thing you know,
I
it's
know.
time to go live.
Yeah, it happens, right?
It does. It
That's
does.
amazing.
There's no uncomfortable silence with Lana and I. We can just go on.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. That's why the shows never go 60 minutes
Correct.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't know
80,
how long the show can
80
go.
minutes, 90. My kid will be like, I was waiting to come downstairs to eat. Why is it so long?
I swear there are times where like 45 minutes in, I'm like, man, we're pretty close to everything we said, but it's probably over. And next thing you know, it's an hour and 38 minutes. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, but I enjoy that. I'm glad we can do that. And that's why her and I partnered up and we said, we're going to conquer the world and figure out exactly what the fuck is going on. And we're going to handle everything. So, uh, how was your weekend?
I do. Yeah, I told you having work done on the living
Yeah.
room, so that was the thing, like running around buying yo, plywood is expensive. What?
I thought it had come down at some point. I know it went up significantly because of the supply chain issues, but we're not having that anymore. So I don't know why it's still so expensive. It may be because of something I'm going to bring up here in a second, but what were you going to say?
No, it's like $47.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the contractor is like, he's a friend too. So he's not gonna
Right.
he'll
tell you exactly.
Right, we got it there. He's like, because I only want to close a window. There's a window in the living room that the TV's in front of. Like, just get rid of the window, right? But not the whole take it out. So you have to redo siding. Just put he was going to paint the plywood, put it in the window. So aesthetically, when you're looking, you just see like whatever. But he's like, $50 to do that. So he started asking her questions about other kinds of birch wood and all these other things. We got that cheap plywood for $15, like one that just like flopped all over the place.
Yeah.
But just one sheet of plywood, $47.98. I was just my mouth, just all of the things that I'm just like all of the wood.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, that kind of leads what I was going to start with in a way. I mean, and I'm not even sure this is the reason why your plywood is so high, but there's a possibility. So Lana and I were talking before we started the show, and she asked me about my Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. And if you're a sports fan at all or you follow football, you understand what just happened on Sunday night. The Dolphins lost, making their road to the Super Bowl incredibly difficult. So I'm not going to get into all the logistics and how pissed off I am about that. Mm-hmm. But what I am going to get into a little bit is about the National Football League and their corporate greed, which is outraging a lot of fans right now. So if you do or you don't know, the National Football League usually sells a package every year so you can watch every single game. They had been exclusive with DirecTV for, I think it was like 20 years, 15, 20 years. So if you wanted to watch every NFL game, you could buy the package on DirecTV and you could watch every game. DirecTV last year was their last year. So the NFL basically opened it up for a bidding war. YouTube won the bidding war. YouTube, the platform you and I are on right now.
Wow. Okay.
YouTube won the bidding war, so they stream all the NFL games at a cost. But they also have Thursday night games. And every Thursday night game, if you wanted to watch that game, whether you bought the package or not, you had to watch it on Amazon Prime. So you have to have Amazon Prime to watch Thursday night game, and then you have to have YouTube to watch all the other games. Now, the most offensive thing, the thing that I'm getting ready to bring up, my Miami Dolphins happen to play the Taylor Swift Kansas City Chiefs this weekend in the playoffs. And you're supposed to laugh at that, Lana, by the way, the Taylor Swift part, because she doesn't really play for the team.
She does. She might.
I think maybe you're so it's so ingrained in you, Taylor Swift and the Chiefs, that maybe
right. I didn't even get it. Like, it's just when people say that, they say right.
Yeah.
The only team. I don't know.
God damn it. Anyway, the Taylor Swift Chiefs play the Miami Dolphins on Saturday night. But this is a playoff game. So if you know anything about the National Football League, about playoff games should not cost you one penny. They shouldn't cost you a dime. They should be free. They should be on TV.
That is true.
They worked a deal with another streaming service called Peacock, which is a subsidiary of NBC.
Don't get me started with Peacock, but go ahead.
Well, we're going to get you started with Peacock because you have to pay
fucking Peacock
to get Peacock to watch the Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins in the playoffs. That's ridiculous. This leads us to something you and I have talked about before. This fucking there's no reason the National Football League needs to bilk people, or NBC or any of these other outlets need to bilk more people out of money. There are a lot of fans out there that either, I'm not saying they can't afford the $5.99. So you pay $5.99, you get a month, and then you can cancel. But of course, what they're counting on is that you pay the $5.99, you don't cancel.
Right. And that's still fucked up because you're still paying $5.99 to watch a game.
A playoff game, which in my lifetime, I have never paid to watch a playoff game in my life. Those are always network games or somewhere where you can find them on basic cable.
Right. That's pretty unbelievable.
It really is. And that kind of reminded me, because what you said earlier about your plywood, everybody started raising their prices during the COVID and during the supply chain things. And some of them said, oh, you know what? Fuck that, lowering the prices. People are paying for them. So why are we going to lower them? I'm not saying that's necessarily happened with plywood, because I know wood has gone down. Right. But you know, that kind of ties in a little bit, and it's really offensive to fans.
I am offended for you. That's fucking crazy. Like, I already get upset when they show you one episode of something on Prime or whatever, and then it's like you have to get the other episodes on a streaming service.
Yeah.
They give you a taste of one, and it's like they're on so many different, like, I already fucking Hulu, Prime, Netflix,
Paramount.
Paramount, MGM. I had to have MGM because I forgot what the heck I was watching, Your Honor or what, something that was so good. I'm like, oh, I need this. Right. And I just got Max because I forgot what Barry I think I was watching.
Yeah.
Peacock used to be free because I used to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on Peacock, and then all of a sudden they started charging us. I'm like, what? I'm not buying that. I'm not. Enough is enough.
Yeah. like I said, it's getting to the point now, like I said, we're in a point where the corporations do whatever they want. They know the sheep and the suckers are going to fall for it. As a Dolphin fan, I have to get it. There's no fucking way I miss this game. Although the way they've been playing, I don't really even want to watch it. I'm that upset about it. But keeping my fingers crossed that somehow they could pull this out. But anyway,
in the day, we can record stuff.
Yeah.
On a VHS, like we just record it and watch it later.
Yep. Hell, I used to take my Walkman and I would go to the radio and I would record songs off the radio. And that was my mixtape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you try to get it real good. We had to fast forward, rewind, like
some
of it off. Go ahead and start the next song.
Get that idiot's voice out of our that whoever's talking. But yeah, that's pretty upsetting. I don't want to turn this too much into a sports show. At the end of the show, maybe we'll come back to it. I don't know if you're following the Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Kimmel thing that went on a little bit more today, but I was going to talk about that. Huh?
More today?
Yeah, because every Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers makes his appearance on this Pat McAfee show, and he responded to Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel made some comments on his first show on Monday night. We'll go back to that, but let's get the show started on some more important things. Donald Trump was in court today. Did you see that? The federal appeals court?
I heard it.
Yeah. So he was in federal appeals court. My understanding, didn't need to show up to that, but he chose to show up to that. This basically was a federal appeals court, and they were asking questions, and they were basically arguing the points as to whether or not a president has full immunity because they are a president. And this is obviously part of the Jack Smith case. And there were some questions asked by the judge. This judge, her name is Florence Pan. She asked one of these Trump attorneys who has somehow taken Donald Trump's case, and I actually looked this guy up. He's a smart guy. He was a Rhodes Scholar from Oxford. So he's got credentials, but
he sounds like an idiot.
You ruin your reputation when you're trying to argue for a guy who's forcing you to argue for him.
Right.
My first clip here is going to be the argument that he has with Florence Pan, and Judge Pan, I should say, asks him some pretty poignant questions that he did his best to argue. Let's take a listen.
SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival. That's an official act in order to SEAL Team 6?
He would have to be and would speedily be, impeached and convicted before the criminal prosecution.
What if he weren't? There would be no criminal prosecution, no criminal liability for that?
Chief Justice's opinion in Marbury against Madison and our constitutional tradition and the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause all clearly presuppose that what the founders were concerned about was not.
I asked you a yes or no question. Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution?
If he were impeached and convicted first. And
so your answer is
no. My answer is qualified yes. There is a political process that would have to occur under the structure of our Constitution, which would require impeachment and conviction by the Senate. In these exceptional cases, as the OLC memo itself points out from the Department of Justice, you'd expect a speedy impeachment and conviction. But what the founders.
So this guy does, it sounds like he's like the Vivek Ramaswamy. It's rambling, and you're going to counterpoint whatever pops into your head.
Right.
The clear question was, can a president order somebody from SEAL Team 6 to murder a political opponent, or anybody for that matter,
right,
and get away with it? And he's saying, well, with a qualified yes. So basically what they would do is go through an impeachment, and, and then a conviction. And so
a Senate impeachment conviction.
So Donald Trump went through 2 impeachments. One was as clear as day. Actually, I take that back. Both of them were as clear as day. But you had a Senate who basically said, no, he's good, and did not convict him.
But what were the reasons, though? Remember, because Mitch McConnell was like, well, we're not going to do it because we're going to let the justice system and the court handle it.
Well, damn it, I tried to pull this clip, and for some reason it would not let me do it. I'm gonna try this right now. This doesn't look great, but I don't care. We're gonna look and see if I can find a way that I can show this clip, because have you seen the Twitter account Mueller, She Wrote?
I didn't see what they posted about this.
Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't download it, but I'm going to share this screen so maybe we can see it. And this was during the impeachment, what Trump's attorneys were arguing during the impeachment, which I found pretty fascinating. So let's take a look and see, which side should win out here. Tell me if you could see this. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Article 1, Section 3 says judgments in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold any office of honor, trust, profit under the United States, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. So this idea of a January amnesty is nonsense. If my colleagues on this side of the chamber actually think that President Trump committed a criminal offense, and let's understand, a high crime is a felony and a misdemeanor is a misdemeanor. The words haven't changed that much over the time. After he's out of office, you go and arrest him. So there is no opportunity where the president of the United States can run rampant in January at the end of his term and just go away scot-free. The Department of Justice does know what to do with such people.
I find that really fascinating that one side is arguing that Donald Trump is good because he's president, but the same lawyers defending Donald Trump during the impeachment basically says this impeachment's ridiculous. If he actually committed a crime, there's an outlet for that. And
right. That's what they were all saying. That's what Mitch McConnell said too. That's what they were all saying when they voted against, impeaching him. It's like, the justice system's going to take care of it. And then they're like, no, the Senate's got to take care of it. Like,
yeah, now the Justice Department is taking care of it. And now you have attorneys that are arguing that shouldn't happen because he needs to be convicted by the Senate, or he needs to be.
That's like, they're so stupid. This is literally a numbers game. So depending on who's in the majority depends on, that's why that's not the full stop legal way to go. It's not the fucking Senate, because we all know it's a numbers game. It's a gamble. It's who's the majority, who's in, who's out. Stop playing right now. It's not the law.
Yeah. Well, because Donald Trump was there, he actually had a response to the hearing after it was over. Are you interested to hear? You probably aren't interested to hear what he has to say, but we're going to.
I know.
Because we just have to. You and I are fair people. We think we should give him.
Do we think that? I mean,
no. We don't. No, because at this point, he's proven to be as moronic of a person as you could possibly be. And there's going to be more clips to even show that. Anyway, let's listen to Donald Trump's response to this hearing.
Well, I want to thank you all. And we had a very momentous day in terms of what was learned and what they've conceded. They conceded two major points that were they were right in doing it. I don't think they had much of a choice, but they're very, very big, very powerful points.
Do you think there's any possibility he has any comprehension of what was said in any of that trial?
No, that's why he's saying very big, and the points and the very big, momentous, and just fucking accurate.
He's using childlike language. He sounds like a sixth grader running for class president is what he sounds like.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing very well. I think it's very unfair when a political opponent is prosecuted.
It's unfair.
By the DOJ, by Biden's DOJ.
Okay, well, first of all, that's just not true. He's not prosecuted. All right, you could call it Biden's DOJ, but what he's doing is obviously leading people into thinking that Joe Biden sat down and goes, we can't run against Donald Trump, so please do whatever you can to get him indicted. Because even though I, as president, and Joe Biden, I'm so scared of him, even though I know he did absolutely nothing wrong, let's just make up some crazy charges and let's move forward with this.
That's not even Biden's DOJ. Like, who does Biden appoint? The fucking head of the DOJ? And that's it. Like, it's not his DOJ. He is separate from it. He doesn't even talk about it. Like, unlike Trump and Barr, this is the shit that drives me fucking nuts with these people. Oh my God.
Well, the thing I think that drives me nuts is that you are looking at two extremely intelligent people. You're looking at Brian Rundle and Lana Quest, and we're two very, very intelligent people. And the fact that we are continually having to talk about this fucking low intelligent, idiot who continues to speak. And the problem is that in any normal universe, anybody listening to him would be like, who is this guy and why are we even paying attention to him?
Right.
we have a minimum third of the country who does pay attention to him and thinks everything he says is golden.
Yep.
All right, not bad.
So they're losing in every poll. They're losing in almost every demographic.
That's not true.
Numbers came out today that are really very mind-boggling if you happen to be Joe Biden.
What are the numbers?
And I think they feel this is
Right.
the way they're going to try and
Where?
win.
From where?
And that's not
Right.
the way it goes. It'll be bedlam in the country. It's a very bad thing. It's a very bad precedent. As we said, it's the opening of a Pandora's box, and it's a very sad thing that's happened with this whole situation. When they talk about threat to democracy, that's your real threat to democracy.
What, the poll situation?
Yeah, let's understand, by the way, what Pandora's box means. What he's basically saying is that you did this to me, which he didn't, that if I win president, guess what's going to happen? I'm doing this to you. But again, he doesn't understand how the law works. He thinks because he's president that he's going to come up with, I mean, maybe he does somehow by some miracle and appoints the wrong people, comes up with some.
Right. I mean, have you read Project 20?
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to try to do it as best as he will. He's going to try. He's going to shoot his shot.
Yeah. Yeah. And and maybe you know more than I do. Is this something that if he does do crazy shit, it gets to the Supreme Court? As crazy as the Supreme Court is right now, I'm not even sure they buy into this, because I have said, again, you made the point that they're not the greatest, and I agree with you, they're not, but they have not gone along with every single thing that Donald Trump, or at least he thinks they should go along with.
Right. Like certain things are just on its face. Like this right here, immunity thing, like it's to talk. I know that these people on these news stations, except for Fox, because they're probably not talking about it, probably feel stupid having to even talk about it or report about it. Like these attorneys and analysts, because why are we talking about this? He's not immune. It doesn't fucking make any sense.
But that's what we've talked about, though, Lana. We've talked about this a million times about how the news media feels like they got to both sides things and be fair. I think at some point
we're talking about it, right?
Yeah, we're close to a point where American democracy is either gone or it is saved. And if you're going to continue to swim in this pool of, you know what, we still have to be fair to Donald Trump because we don't want to look biased. It's not a matter of looking biased. It's a matter of looking like somebody that doesn't want to lose American democracy.
Right.
All right, let's finish up this idiot.
And I feel that as a president, you have to have immunity. Very simple. And if you don't, as an example, if this case were lost on immunity and I did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong,
why would you need immunity if you did nothing wrong? Right. He feels like he should have immunity, but for what? For nothing wrong?
What? Exactly. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well.
Working for the country. And I worked on very hard on voter fraud, because we have to have free elections. We have to have strong borders. We have to have free elections. Those two things almost above all. And we found tremendous voter fraud. We have...
No, they didn't.
Of it. We have some
Here we go. Oh my God, it's 2024. What in the entire...
Well, they found no voter fraud. And in fact, some of the voter fraud that I saw, some of it came from Trump voters. In fact, most of it, I think, came from Trump voters.
Yeah. And didn't just last week, the person that they hired, his people hired to investigate voter fraud, came out because he wrote a book saying he investigated it and found there was no voter fraud.
His own, you talk about Department of Justice. He keeps talking about Department of Justice. Right. So he picks and chooses what Department of Justice. His own Department of Justice literally came out and said, this is the safest election in the history of this country.
Correct. And like you said, but he's where he is because the Republicans came and chose to speak out. Democrats have not gone after him. All this evidence is because of Republicans that are testifying, that have done hearings and depositions. Like, what is going on here? They keep saying Joe Biden's railroading him, but how?
These prosecutors are not fucking stupid. They've been doing this for longer than Donald Trump has been president. You know, they've been doing this for a very long time. So when they gather evidence and they gather witnesses, they gather evidence and witnesses that only pertain to what exactly they're prosecuting. And a lot of the, not a lot, nearly 100% of the witnesses are people that were either close to him, worked with him, worked for him. So these are all people that were assigned by Donald Trump. And here you and I are talking like we're being driven crazy when this should just be, like you said, on its face, already over with. This should be gone. This should have been done a long time ago in a normal, intelligent world, but we don't live in that world anymore.
No, because I know you must. I know you got clips of these Trump people at that rally he went to. You have to have that.
I don't. Damn it. Now I feel all right. You know what? I'm starting off. We're starting over the show. We'll be back in 30 minutes. That, or I'm just gonna say I don't have it. All right. Do you want to finish this idiot up?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
But we found tremendous voter fraud, determinative voter fraud. But we worked on that. That's what I was doing.
Now I feel like I should have Trump voters talking. Damn it. All right. No, let's get back.
Yeah, because
they were talking about after. Well, nothing has to do with after I left. It was during the time. And that was what they really focused on today during the appeal. And they concede that, and everybody concedes that. And if it's during the time, you have absolute immunity. So we'll see how it all works out. We have.
Okay. You don't have absolute immunity. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And in fact, just on that clip that we heard earlier, you know, the judge is asking, can you murder somebody, have somebody murdered and you're fine? What if he raped somebody in office? What if he did, you know, are you telling me that he'd have to go through an impeachment first for raping somebody or murdering somebody? The judge also brought up whether or not if you sold pardons or you sold military secrets, if you sold any of that, you're telling me I have to wait for Congress?
Can you imagine that? Hey, blood on his hands because he just killed somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we're just going to wait until, you know, Congress gets their shit together and decides to, like, what?
Who else in the world could murder somebody other than like a Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un, whatever?
Right.
Who can murder somebody and you can wait on some other outcome to see whether or not you are, that is insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. So, right. So what, he's just free with no bail because can't do any of that because we got to wait for him to be.
He won the presidency, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I can't.
If that's the case, then why was Bill Clinton impeached?
Right.
If you can do whatever you want.
Right. I mean, Joe Biden might as well be a crime family. He's a president.
Right.
He might as well, Hunter, give him some illegal money. I don't know. He might as well do what y'all saying he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. You and I said that last week. If somehow, because this will go to the Supreme Court, whether or not they'll hear it or not is another issue. And I don't see why they wouldn't. You know, and if they rule
they don't
in
want to be
favor,
involved.
yeah, I mean, but this is as easy as a fucking case has ever been handed to them.
Yeah, they may not. Like, it doesn't even make any fucking sense for them to listen to this. Like, what the fuck is this?
I go back to sports a little bit. You ever watch sports and they have to go back and look at a review of a play? Yeah. This one would be where the ref just goes, "Oh yeah, this is easy. He dropped the ball," and that's what it would be for the Supreme Court.
Like, why did you waste your time out on this?
Yeah, exactly. This was dumb. Yeah, we got it. So he mentioned the word if everything basically doesn't work out his way, there could be bedlam, which is another dog whistle for the flying monkeys. who are all jacked up and jazzed up and think that they're going to grab their guns or grab their fucking zip ties or whatever the fuck they do and get in their stupid little costumes and get all angry and pissed.
Right.
So a reporter asked him about that comment and about whether or not he would advocate violence in a way. And basically, this was his response.
Mr. President, you just used the word bedlam. Will you tell your supporters now, no matter what, no violence?
Gone. So that's it. And even Harris, whatever her name is, even looked kind of like, oh, Jesus Christ. He didn't answer that question. That's not good.
Oh my God. Like I don't like listening to him because I always have these awful thoughts, right? Like you just want it to be quiet. You want it to just fall off like the ground to open up and just swallow. Like
No doubt.
It's just, why is such evil on the planet? Like that is just stormed off like, because I don't care who dies. He just doesn't fucking like we know these people exist like that, but it almost seems like we're so close to it. It's almost like we're adjacent to it. And I don't even understand how that's so possible. Like maybe because we see him on TV all the time. Maybe because he's just like a public figure. And normally like rapists and murderers and shit, we walk among them, but we don't know what they are. But we know it. He's like flaunting who he is.
He is sort of, he resembles sort of a group of people in this country who feel like they are entitled to be angry about something. And they, they're the ones who always talk about entitlements, and they're the ones who always talk about other people and cancel culture, all that, whatever the fuck they talk about. But they feel like they're the ones, they feel like there's something against them when there isn't. I mean, on my side, with you, we're not against anybody. We just want everybody to be happy. That's all it is. I mean, if you're a Trump supporter, I want you to be happy, but you are living a miserable life because you're being suckered into thinking that you're being, I don't know, castrated from society.
Yeah. But they think we're the miserable ones because we're complaining, but it's just like, we're just trying to get you to see. And I was hoping that you had those clips of the rally because, the typical Trump supporters, they look like, and it's just like, one woman was saying like, Jesus died on the cross for us. And Trump said he's getting indicted for us. And I'm just like, you ought to be a fucking shame to yourself.
Yeah.
Even comparing the two.
Yeah.
Because you know for a fact that this man fornicated and cheated on his pregnant wife. That's one of the biggest no-nos of the whole fucking Bible.
But it's not in that party because Marjorie Taylor Greene's sleeping with people left and right while she's married. Lauren Boebert's fucking nuts.
It's just not like, it's just not happening. He's like the second coming. Like, are y'all fucking stupid? But yeah, you are. And people don't like calling them stupid, but and we talked about this. It's like a couple of groups of Trump supporters, like the ones that are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I saw a whole black man today with his white adjacent girlfriend. No offense, whites, but that's kind of how.
Is it the January 6th girlfriend?
No, this is just one of his stupid rallies, because that's what happens with, like, if you notice, black people for Trump are normally adjacent to white people.
Yeah.
You don't have a black couple that are for Trump. It's always someone trying to be white adjacent. It's adjacent to that white supremacy.
Yeah.
So he could barely speak English. No offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about a Trump supporter it would sound like he was from Nigeria or one of those African countries.
Yeah.
Trump, and I'm all along, I'm like, Trump doesn't fucking want you. Trump doesn't want you in this country. And you're here with a thick accent saying, people railroading him. That shit was wild.
Well, Lana, he does a great job of suckering people in this country who understand. Imagine how easy it is to sucker people who are not from this country.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. But another thing in that clip too, where the reporter asked him that we have not talked about is, Republicans are the personal responsibility. They're all, he asked them, will you tell your supporters? Like, what kind of fucking adult or what idiot do you have to be told whether or not to commit violence or not commit violence? I mean, how sad of a pathetic loser do you need to be told by some dude who laughs at you and thinks you're a fucking moron whether or not I'm ready to go when President Trump tells me to go? You're like, you are a fucking loser. You're a loser.
Yeah.
Just like the Dolphins. Can't be hypocritical here.
I was proud of the one woman who was at the J6 thing who keeps coming and talking. She keeps going on to different shows because she was at J6. She was pro-Trump and she's pissed fuck at Trump.
Yeah, no, I agree. I saw her and she was like, God damn, what was I think? But of course, look, I'm a dude and I'm happy to be a guy, but women are just smart. At some point they come to their senses and they're like, that was dumb.
Yeah, maybe being on the fucking ground with a bunch of insurrections stepping on her head and she's probably down there saying help. And they looking at her like, bitch, get out the way.
No question. And then she walks in and she sees them shitting all over the place. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Right. She had to be saved by the police. Police saved her. So she's like, yeah. Right.
That's we are in January of 2024. And again, this year, right now, we are the waters are somewhat calm, but we are in the boat and the waves are really starting to get a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it.
Right.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to get back to Donald Trump because I got more things to say about him and we've got more clips with him. But let's get to the president of the United States. By the way, happy January 6th or Insurrection Day. We just passed January 6th, which was one of the most disgraceful days in the history of this country, especially modern history, since Lana and I have been alive. For me, at least, this is possibly the most disgraceful day in American history. I don't know if there's anything else that can be compared to it. Am I forgetting anything, Lana?
No, in America?
As far as just being flat out disgraceful. And don't get me wrong, even when I'm alive, there's been some fucking disgraceful moments.
Now that was pretty bad. Like even, no, that was really bad.
Yeah. I mean, this was basically people who live in this country, who claim to be patriots, who claim to be Americans, who attacked their own country. And quite frankly, I am about had it with being gaslighted by people who are trying to explain to me that these were patriots, that these were people who love our country. These are not patriots. These are not people who loved our country. These are sad, pathetic morons who listen to another sad, pathetic moron because he is not man enough to accept the fact that he got the shit kicked out of him in an election. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
So, couple clips we want to play here. President Biden spoke on this in a speech not too long ago. I believe it was on Friday. He did it the day before January 6th. He was going to do it on January 6th, but I think there were some weather issues, so he moved it up a day. But he did have some really good things to say. And by the way, for anybody that says Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at, he doesn't know how to speak, I don't know how he did it. It looks to me, and Lana, correct me if I'm wrong, while watching this clip, it looks to me like he memorized the whole thing. It doesn't look to me like there is a monitor or any kind of any kind of device that's showing the words. But either way, this is what he had to say, and the speech was phenomenal, by the way.
You can't be
Oh,
pro-insurrectionist and pro-American.
Wow.
You know, Trump and his MAGA supporters not only embrace political violence, but they laugh about it. At his rally, he jokes about an intruder whipped up by the big Trump lie, taking a hammer to Paul Pelosi's skull and echoing the very same words used on January 6th. Where's Nancy? And he thinks that's funny. He laughed about it. What a sick.
I
Right.
wish I was on a podcast on Saturday and we were talking about this, and I just wish they would let him say what the fuck he's gonna say. Let him say sick fuck. He needs to say that. We are too demure. Like, Republicans say what they fucking feel, and Democrats really have to get to that point. Let Joe be Joe. If he went on and said Trump was a sick fuck, do you know his poll numbers would shoot up? He would be viral on TikTok, all over the gram. Young people would fucking forget about goddamn what's happening in Israel and be like, do you hear what he... Because you got to speak the people's language, and the people are changing.
Yeah, they are. And we talked about this with Stephen Holden when we were on the Quest show last week.
Right.
And we spoke to Stephen Holden, who's running against Elise Stefanik, which, by the way, I have a clip of her here in a second. We had mentioned, basically the same thing, is that there was always this perception that the Democrats were just kind of like demure and wussies, and, but they are fighting back, and there are a lot of fighters who fight back. And, sick fuck, would that, I wouldn't have minded it. Of course that plays into the Donald.
Fuck the people who don't like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the line. There are what mistakes, like the only mistake that can be had right now is not pulling all your punches. That's the only mistake. Him saying sick fuck is not going to have him lose. Who is he going to lose?
Yeah. No, you know what? You make a great point, because at this point there's no pulling punches anymore. We had brought up Michelle Obama's comment of that when they go high, we go low, or when they go low, we go high, during our interview with Stephen Holden. And, that mentality has changed.
Right.
And it was when she said it was a great statement, and she was absolutely right. But we're now at a point where it's down and dirty time, and it's time for us to get down and dirty.
Right.
And whatever the consequences are. But yeah, this is where we're at in American history now, where a president is not only celebrating, but laughing at a vicious attack of somebody else because it was a political opponent, and getting other people in the crowd to laugh at it, and getting other idiots to talk about it on their podcast or their shows, and the Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfelds who think they're comedians and they're not, they're terrible. This is where we're at now. And it spills over. It's now spilling over into our sports programming, which I tried to talk about earlier with this Pat McAfee show and Aaron Rodgers, and they're on a sports show talking about fucking Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, this is embarrassing this is just embarrassing to everything that's going on right now. But let's finish up to see, let's listen to our president finish up here.
My God. I think it's despicable, seriously. Not just for a president, for any person to say that. But to say it to the whole world listening. When I was overseas, anyway.
So he had those comments to say. He also called Donald Trump exactly what he is. He's a fucking loser. And this is another clip I want to play, because this is one I liked, because attacking Donald Trump's ego is also something that you just got to do, because he's so easily offended, and he's such a fucking little baby that attacking his ego and attacking everything about him, calling him a loser. apparently there's a story going around that he does not smell good.
You think that's true?
Sure. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, why not? I mean,
I don't.
people are saying,
Yeah, I don't know.
people are saying, I guess that's their line, that, people, that you could just say whatever you want because people are saying it.
That is true. Like, hey.
Yep. So, this is a quick clip, but let's listen to him call him a fucking loser.
Trump exhausted every legal avenue available to him to overturn the election. Every one. But the legal path just took Trump back to the truth. That I'd won the election and he was a loser.
Fucking loser.
Who said that?
Yep. He is a loser. And by the way, looking at those clips, does he look like he's reading off a teleprompter?
It doesn't, but it's hard to tell. Sometimes
he's looking around, he's looking at people, he's talking.
Not looking down and reading either. So it's, I don't. Maybe he looked good. You can.
Although I don't want to celebrate the fact that that Biden's not reading off a teleprompter, because that almost plays into it a little bit. But
that is true. Yeah. But most of them do. Even Obama did that. He wrote his speeches and he did on the teleprompter.
A lot of people do, and I would suggest. I wouldn't suggest it because it seems to be working for him. But Donald Trump, when he doesn't read off a teleprompter to people who are intelligent or people who have even half a brain, he sounds like a fucking moron. But when he goes on his own rants, people just listen to him. And I got a rant I'm going to play for you here in a minute. But before we do that, President Biden was also at a South Carolina church recently. And he was interrupted by some protesters, some Palestinian protesters. And here's the difference on how a real president handles things, rather than the guy who says, get him out, punch him in the face, whatever, whoever bothers your sad, pathetic little ego. This is how you handle protesters. Again, you and I have talked about this on this show, and I even got some comments from some of the progressives who are like, you guys deserve Trump because we're not defending. I am a fan of the progressive movement. I hope at some point we get to, where we want to be.
Right.
But there's a road to get there. Right. And right now is not the time to go against the guy who's going against the guy who's going to completely fuck you over.
Right. For years, right? Like the damage is going, it's going to be, we're not going to be repaired for a decade.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's listen to this clip. I'll probably interrupt it at one point because there is something in here that really bothers me what one of the protesters say or they start saying, but let's watch this clip. First of all, the idea that he doesn't care about the lives lost there is, for lack of a better term, offensive.
It is. Like, where have you been since this man's whole political career? Like, fucking stop it. That's stupid.
Yep. All right.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Just relaxes. Let them do their thing. Everybody else is relaxed. Right there. Their blood is on your hands. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden. This attack did not occur because Joe Biden is president, regardless of what some people say. And even if that's not what they were talking about, how is their blood on his hands?
Right. Right. That's the $1 million question, because I always want to know that. Why do they think that Joseph Biden can stop that fighting?
I know there are ways that he could probably strong arm, what's his name?
Netanyahu.
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu, because we give a lot of aid to Israel every year, as like over $3 billion a year.
So, like, if we just withhold aid, is that what happens? And then
Well, then all of a sudden we're anti-Israel, and then it just doesn't. Either way, there's no winning hand.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You just kind of try to do what you do in the back room and keep it moving. But that is stupid. And let me just say this. That is Mother Emanuel Church. Why the hell are you going to Mother Emanuel Church to disrespect that sacred church? That is like, what are we doing here?
Well, I think just in fairness that I would say that any place is a place for protest. If you want to protest, you could protest.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would say, because but at the same time, I just think this protest, they're a little bit off base on what they're saying, and especially based on what President Biden's response is here. So let's listen to his response and see and let them know as they're walking out, what he's doing and what's going on. And I want to make clear, by the way, appropriate, no, definitely not appropriate. But protest, you could protest. That's what this country is all about. And if you want to protest in something, because, if there was something that I agreed with and I saw a protest, I'm not sure I would care where it was. Maybe I would. I don't know. I'd have to be in that situation to think about it. But I understand what you're saying. And, there is some places.
That's Mother Emanuel Church,
Yeah,
the oldest Black church in the South. Like, there's, I would feel the same as Martin Luther King spoke there. Like, why are we doing that there?
Yeah,
that's disrespectful as fuck. And you here talking about peace and ceasefire when you're acting like an asshole in a sacred church. Like, it's not just any church down the street, friggin' St. John's Baptist. Like, this is Mother Emanuel. Like, the fuck.
Yeah. All right. So he's going to give a response.
That lady's like,
yeah. It's like, calm, cool, and collected.
Thank you. Look, folks, I understand their passion, and I've been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza, using all that I can to do that.
But he's been saying that, and it's like this is the thing that I just want to pull my hair out, because it's like, if you follow politics, if you follow the Biden's administration, if you follow the Democrats, you don't have to be out here saying, it's hard now, because you would know that in the back rooms that he's trying to work it out. You can't just pop up one day and be like, oh my God, this is what they're not doing this. And you don't do the proper research to see what they're doing. Fucking Google is your friend. Just Google, what is the Biden administration doing to cease fire?
Yeah.
You'll find something.
Well, I think here's the problem, because we live in a sort of all no holds barred WWE kind of politics now. So would you rather have a president who talks a lot of shit and acts like he's doing shit but is doing nothing? Or would you rather have a president who's calm, cool, collective, not saying what he's doing, but in the background doing what he's doing? The problem is Donald Trump comes out with all this bluster, like he's doing, and people are like, he loves this country because he's really doing shit. Meanwhile, he's doing literally nothing. He did literally nothing during his presidency other than played golf, ate hamburgers, and threw ketchup at the wall. That's basically what he did in his 4 years. Actually, I should say 3 years and 9 months. The last 2 months when he lost the presidency, he basically walked around the White House like a big fucking baby and did, I mean, I'm talking about almost the reverse of nothing. I don't even know what lower you can get from nothing. So yeah, I mean, that's I think unfortunately where we live now, and I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's how young people are too. It's like, and that's why I said he needs to say the fuck word sometimes. Like, you just need to go in and do it, because this is what they respond to. I mean, but the other pieces, I don't have the expectation for him to be on TV talking about what he's talking about with Benji Netanyahu or how right? Like, you got to understand politics. That's how things are done in the fucking back rooms. That is politics.
Backroom politics is it's a term for a reason. You know, it's been going on for a very long time, and because we don't have the bluster, we don't talk shit.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who kept talking about how he calling Kim Jong-un little nicknames. And next thing you know, now he's talking about they have a love affair. I mean, get the fuck out of here, man. I don't want to hear about your love affair with a dictator who would want to blow up your voters if you weren't president. And he probably still does, even if you are president, because you're too stupid to understand that he doesn't give a fuck about you.
Right. Right. You know what's interesting? Like, Biden is literally the one who has gotten hostages home.
Right.
Like, he's gotten Reiner home, right? Everybody's like, free Brittany Reiner. You know, the black woman, he's not doing. Yeah, he was quietly doing what he had to do.
Exactly.
You know, with what's the other one? Wheeler?
Yeah.
Yep. And one
that was the one Fox News was talking about forever. You know, get him home, get him up. He got him home. Trump didn't get him home.
Exactly. Quietly.
Yeah.
No one's announcing what they're going to do. That's what idiots do.
Correct.
Has to announce things. Idiots are the ones that have to tell you that they're actually men. I'm a tough guy.
Yep.
I'm going to show you how to be master. They're not. Those are the guys that are.
Nope. I've said that a million times. The ones who have to try to tell people that you're masculine or you're the man or you're this, you're not. You just you look like a clown. You sound like a clown. You might pull it off with some people, and they might, think that you're awesome. But the vast majority of people go, man, you're a douche. All right. So I warned you that we're going to get back to some Donald Trump clips. And I will say, I think people would think that because our show is very pro-Democrat, very pro-liberal, and very anti-Donald Trump, you would think that we talk about and have clips of Donald Trump all the time. We necessarily don't. I mean, we haven't had a lot of Donald Trump clips in a while. I mean, even you and I would sit here and think, yeah, we have a lot of Donald Trump clips, but I look back and, some clips or some shows, we don't have any clips of Donald.
Honestly, I hate them and they make me sick to my stomach, but it's good for people to continue to not forget how much of an idiot he is.
Well, they may not want to forget this clip where he is so intent on getting any edge he can to win the presidency that he is willing for the American economy to go into the tank. He had this to say about what he's hoping for in the next 12 months.
We have an economy that's incredible. We have an economy that's so fragile. And the only reason it's running now is it's running off the fumes of what we did, what the Trump administration. It's just running.
I can't even begin to point out how stupid that comment is. First of all, he's admitting, by the way, that the economy is doing well now, which is surprising. But it's off the fumes of what he did
4 years later.
4 years later.
Trump's
now, if you have any ounce of intelligence, you would understand how incredibly stupid that comment is. And because if there was any validity to the comment, any intelligent person would list the amount of things that he's basing that on.
Right.
He can't do that. By the way, just
Imagine that. This
between me
is
and you.
Trump's economy. Like what?
He can't name it. He can't name a thing.
He doesn't.
But
even
anyway, to finish up.
Off the fumes. And when there's a crash, I hope it's going to be during this next 12 months.
Cool.
Because I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. The one president, I just don't want to be Herbert Hoover.
He doesn't want to be Herbert Hoover. But he does want the economy to crash in the next 12 months. He'd like to see it. That will help his cause. If everything continues to go the way it's going, the economy not only isn't going to crash, it is vastly improving. And we have made this point on this show before that if Joe Biden is such a horrific president for the economy, you would think that the economy would be getting worse. But after COVID, when everybody's economy crashed, this country under Joe Biden has made the biggest and best strides of any other country since COVID had hit, economy-wise. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job. And Lana, I talked to a friend of mine, an acquaintance, I should say, not necessarily a friend. I haven't seen him in a while. And he was like, "Hey, congratulations on your, YouTube podcast." And I was like, "Oh, you watched it?" Because I know he's like a far right guy. And he was like, "Yeah, I watched it for a few minutes, and then you said Joe Biden was one of the greatest, the great president, so I turned it off." And I didn't want to get into it with him. I didn't even bother. But I was just like, "Can I ask you a question? What is it about Joe Biden that's horrible? Like, other than the perception that you're getting from Fox News and all these people that he just doesn't know where he's at, that he's brain dead, that he's, what about it? Or that he caused the inflation, or, why do you hate him so much? What is it about him?" I'm in a bar watching football, so it's probably not the best place to have that conversation anyway. But again, I still don't understand why people say he's such a horrible president. Worst president since Jimmy Carter. They've got that implanted in their brain too, that Jimmy Carter is one of the worst presidents of all time, which he wasn't. Wasn't the best, but he won the worst.
Right. I don't know. Did he answer?
No, well, I didn't. That's what I said. I didn't even bother asking him, but that was my thought. My thought is, what is it? Why is it that you say that? But,
he's a pedophile.
Yeah, that too, just dumb shit, man. God damn. But outside of that, he also, Donald thinks he got a raw deal because of COVID, because he had a plan.
Can we not gloss over the fact that Donald Trump wants the economy to fail so that you lose your value of your stocks or maybe your retirement,
401ks,
so
home values,
so he can run on it?
Correct.
Sounds like a great guy to me.
I mean, and here's the sad part. Do the flying monkeys go, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to have my 401k go in the tank. I'm willing to
They probably
lose my job. I'm willing to do this for President Trump.
Yeah.
Or are they, gosh, I do not like using the words smart enough. So I'm going to try to figure out something to substitute that. But because I can't think of anything like right now, I'm going to use the words, are they just not smart enough to understand his plan? Are they not acute enough? Or are they not?
That's part of it. And then the other part, I think they have so much trust in him. It's like, well, if he's saying that we need to crash the economy in order to do a fresh start, then God darn it, that's what we're going to do. If he needs to crash this plane while we're on it,
right?
So here's a fresh start. Okay.
Speaking of planes, Speaking of planes, did you see that plane that was flying with a fucking door fell off?
That shit was crazy. Those people were incredibly calm from the video that I saw.
I agree. I'd be like, whoa. My head would be in my lap just so I don't have to see. I don't want to see a gaping hole in the side of a fucking airplane. I mean, I'm sorry.
God. I would have been throwing up. I cannot. But maybe they're just frozen in fear because I'm looking around that video that I saw. I'm like,
Yeah.
their mask on, and they were just all like,
all right. I mean, I guess we'll be landing in a few minutes. I'll be,
man. I mean, it's probably credit to the attendants.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it probably comes down to. They're like, guys, we're fine. Don't worry about it. We're not far from the airport. We'll be landing soon.
Right.
We got this. So I don't know. Maybe I think I would be calm. I mean, but anyway, Donald.
Calling people.
Donald thinks he got screwed, by the way, because of COVID. COVID fucked up his entire plan. He had a phenomenal plan to get us out of debt altogether, had it all set up. COVID hit. Let's listen to the plan.
Oil and gas to Europe. They wouldn't have even needed the pipeline. It wouldn't have been able to compete with us.
Real quick, look down in the bottom left. Do you see where this interview is being conducted? On Lindell TV. That's Mike Lindell, the pillow guy. Apparently, does he have his own network or channel?
Is it? Or is it just a YouTube or something?
It's not. Well, it's not a network. There's no way anybody. He doesn't even fucking have his own money.
It's probably some streaming platform. That's why he's got that thing there.
Could you imagine doing an interview on Lindell TV?
Yeah, it's probably a streaming platform, right? Yeah, because what TV? He's broke. That dude's broken and broke now.
My guess is it's no different than the black and white show. I think
me too. They don't even have good lighting.
Right.
They don't have a ring light.
Do you have a ring light? Because I just ordered one.
Oh, well, right now I don't because I broke mine, so I'm using excuse me. It's a regular little lamp because
you rocking any light. I'm trying to find a light. I'm looking at I'm like, I don't know. I need some lighting. I need some makeup. I need all that shit. Whatever. But camera makeup. All right, let's finish. Listen to this dolt.
And we're going to make a fortune. We're going to start paying down debt. We owe $34 trillion. We're going to start paying down debt. Everything was going great. In fact, I was all set to do that. And then we got hit with COVID. We had to worry about that.
Tricky COVID. We had to worry about that. So I had everything lined up. We were going to sell oil and gas to Europe. We were going to be out of debt. But that fucking COVID just ruined all my plans, even though COVID came nearly at the end
didn't exist. I don't know. Which one is it? Yeah, I'm so confused. I thought
which one is what?
I thought COVID didn't exist. Like, which one is it? That was a hoax. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so you're right, because the first, 4 months of COVID, he said, it's just something, it's going to go away in a second. So when did this plan with Europe and the gas sale, I mean, when was that planning on going down? Because at some point he's acknowledging that he had to deal with something that at first said was not serious and now it is serious. And the fact that people don't call him out on shit like this, where they just, well, of course, on Lindell TV, they're not going to.
Right.
But that'd be my question. I'd be like, I don't understand. When was the deal supposed to go down? I mean, was this a 1 week deal that you had it shored up in just a week? Right. And then 1 week later, you realize COVID was a problem?
Right.
Like, can you give me the specifics on that? My guess is there is a 0% chance he could give one specific on this deal.
Correct.
Between him and Europe selling oil and gas that would pay off the entire debt of the United States.
The debt he made.
The debt he created, correct, at least 25% of all the debt ever created in the United States, he's responsible for, but he was going to pay it off with this, this oil and gas deal with Europe. What? Oh, man. Lana?
Tired. It's just horrific. I can't believe we are here.
So this clip is just, we keep talking about cognitive decline. Nikki Haley recently was asked about the Civil War and what caused it. Donald Trump weighed in with his view on the Civil War.
This is
And
for
if you or
Oh.
any of our viewers can tell me just what the fuck he's talking about, I will be highly impressed. Maybe I was tired when I listened to the clip. So we're all going to listen to it together with full attention. Here we go.
If you take a look, I mean, the wars, I don't know what it is. The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible. It was so horrible, but so fascinating. It was.
Every word is so grandiose, fascinating, horrible.
What is this?
The greatest.
What is this? Kids Guide, President Trump, freetrumpbook.com?
Yeah, of course. These are, for the suckers who are watching this on, again, another network, RSBN, which I have absolutely no idea what that is.
This is no wonder people are indoctrinated. Like, this shit is ill.
Yeah.
But it probably costs $80 to ship.
But this was right, no question, no doubt about it. But this is at an Iowa rally. But everything so far is horrible. And
look at the bottom. There's no evidence Joe Biden won.
All right, this is a wild ride. So let's finish.
I don't know. It was just different. I just find it. I'm so attracted to seeing it. So many mistakes were made. See, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died. So many people died. That was the disaster. If you got hit by a bullet in the leg, you were essentially going to die or lose the leg. That's why you had so many people, no legs, no arms. If you got hit in the arm or the leg, it meant you were up because the infection gained.
Well, that's really his only reference and knowledge of the Civil War, because he's just using stupid words like it was fascinating, it was horrible, and
he's talking about bullets in the leg.
Yeah, but let's not gloss over, as a term that you used earlier, let's not gloss over that he just said that the Civil War is something shouldn't have happened because it could have been negotiated. And if Donald Trump were there, the king of negotiation, which, by the way, I don't know if I brought it up on this show before, but I didn't know we had all these comments. Oh, look who's here. Owen Benjamin highlights. I'll get to those comments here in a second. But he's the king negotiator, right? He's this unbelievable negotiator. And he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, which is supposed to be a book where I'm supposed to read and become this incredible negotiator and learn how to do business. He followed that up with another book that apparently was a bestseller called The Art of the Comeback. Well, my question is that if you wrote a book that was so great about dealing, and I'm supposed to be really good at dealing the first time, why would I need to come back? Why would I be in such a position? Because he was nearly broke at one point, and he wrote a book called The Art of the Comeback because he wound up getting money back. Part of that money is because his daddy died. Well, actually, a large amount of that money is because his daddy died, and got over $400 million for that. But I'm not understanding why you'd have to write The Art of the Comeback if The Art of the Deal was supposed to be the book to tell everybody how to be such a great millionaire or billionaire or whatever the fuck it is he was trying to tell people, which he didn't even write, by the way. He didn't even write that book. It was ghostwritten.
Art of the Grift.
Yep. All right, let's finish up this idiot.
Green. It was just such a, sort of a horrible time. But I was thinking to myself, because I was reading something.
He's thinking to himself.
I said, this is something that could have been negotiated. And it was just for all those.
Lana, what's the negotiation? What? That some people can have slaves, some people can't? Is that the negotiation?
I have no idea. What is there to negotiate? Maybe, light-skinned slaves get to go and we keep the dark ones in the fields. That was already done.
I think they tried the negotiation. They basically said, hey, we're stopping slavery. And they said no. And they said, all right, well, we're going to fuck you up. That's really the negotiation.
He said he has a different one. So I don't
know. Let's see if he says anything about it.
People to die, and they died viciously. That was a vicious, vicious war. And in many ways, look, they're all this nothing nice about it. But boy, that was a tough one for our country. But I think it's Abraham Lincoln. Of course, if he negotiated it, you probably wouldn't even know who Abraham Lincoln was. He would have been president, but he would have been president. He wouldn't have been the Abraham Lincoln. Would have been different, but that would have been okay. It would have been a thing that, and I know it very well. I know the whole process that they went through, and they just couldn't get along. And that would have been something that could have been negotiated, and they wouldn't have had that problem. But it was a hell of a time. And
what are we talking? Is this what are we talking? I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, that's why I said I welcome anybody to tell me what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know.
Legitimately, they didn't get along. They who? We talking about the North and South didn't get along? What are they like mad? Like they were neighbors and someone like cut someone's tree down? Like what the fuck are we talking about? One place wanted to enslave fucking humans. Like what is this? They didn't get along? Well, but that makes sense, right? The very fine people on both sides. Like that's that same bullshit. What the fuck are we talking about?
Well, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Well, let me finish this clip because he said so. I think he says something about Putin. Hold on.
When you think of it today, I would have absolutely stopped Putin. He would have never gone in. And he didn't. For 4 years, he didn't. There was never even a thought of it going in. And that was the apple of his eye. He would tell me. We would talk.
That's absolutely not true. Him and I, they're talking about, he's insinuating him and Putin would talk. And Putin was saying, hey, man, I really want to invade Ukraine. And Donald Trump is telling him no. So he sat there like a good boy and didn't do it. Get the fuck out of here. You scare nobody, Donald, other than your flying monkeys. That's it.
He scares no one.
No, we laugh at you.
He didn't do it. Putin said he didn't do it, so he didn't do it.
God damn. All right, so we do have some comments that I do want to read. Anybody that sends some comments, I think it is at least we should acknowledge them. And I do apologize because I am just seeing these, so a lot of them are probably out of context. Owen Benjamin highlights, who seems to be a big fan of Owen Benjamin, I guess. I don't know. If you are, let me know. He does not see color. Religion, on the other hand, I mean, what is up with the Hindus? I have absolutely no idea what that means. If you can expand, I'd appreciate it. Even if I don't patronize liberals to the degree you supposed allies do, your side absolutely 100% patronizes and demeans and attacks and does trolls. You are the king of trolls, liberals, all that stuff. So that is not something I'm going to be gaslighted with. Calling for a ceasefire in a church. What would Jesus do? I'm assuming that would be a joke in the Owen Benjamin sort of ilk.
What is I don't see color? What the hell is that?
Well, I don't know. I asked him to expand if he's still watching.
No, he don't have to expand that because it's dumb. How do you not see color? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yet you don't see color. Color exists, and that is the issue. That's the issue with all of you, Owen. If you're running around here talking about I don't see color, it's because you don't want to recognize Black people. You don't want to recognize other races. You just want to recognize your race while keeping the other races oppressed. I want you to see color. Children should see color. They shouldn't put one color over the other color, but they should know each other's differences. And that's the thing that you have a problem with in your ilk.
You are absolutely correct. But what that is too, it's sort of that trope. It's almost their way of trying to say that it's the liberals who are actually racist because they don't see color. So if they think they say that, then they're in the lead on this who sees race more or who is more racist and who is not more racist. They think that works against intelligent people. That works amongst themselves. It does not work here.
Right. It works amongst themselves because they don't know what racism is, because that's a social construct. No one was fucking back with the slavers. Like, no one thought about race. There was no race. Who invented racism? Colonizers and slavers. They're the ones that were like, hey, those people are this color. We are white. They did that. So how now are you saying, oh no, but y'all are the racists, when it's always about the social construct and the people who have the power? Black people cannot systemically stop you from doing anything, any other race. We just cannot.
Yeah, and that is what it's part of now. Is there is a phenomenon in this country, and it's this doubling down effect. So I've seen this a lot recently, and it's a way of trying to blame others for your terrible behavior. I see it all the time. I see it in politics. If you ever watch any of these politicians, when they get called out on anything, I was going to pull 4 or 5 clips, but it turned out to be a big pain in the ass. So if you want to go out and look up these clips yourselves, you can, but look up any politician when they're called out on anything, a Republican politician or a MAGA politician. Every single one of them go back to the same thing. The media, this is the media, this is the media. They're blaming the media. So that is their way of going, I don't do anything wrong. It's you guys who are doing something wrong. Even a guy I love, Dave Chappelle. I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's brilliant. I happened to watch his recent comedy show on Netflix, and I was hoping to see the brilliant Dave Chappelle that I love, that I think is brilliant. He was not. It was not funny. It doubled down again with the transgender jokes. And I am personally, for me, I don't care what you joke about. If it's in a context that's intelligent and it's funny, I can laugh at anything.
Right.
But it just felt lazy. It felt boring. And it felt like Dave Chappelle said, you think you're going to get to me? You think your protest or your anger at me about transgenders is going to bother me? Well, guess what? I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to continue to do this, and I want to see what you're going to do about it, which also lends me to say that all these people out here who keep saying that I'm not allowed to say, you are allowed to say. You could say whatever the fuck you want. There's platforms for everybody. This Owen Benjamin guy. Owen Benjamin is somebody who probably whines about I'm not allowed to say, but he's got a platform to say it. You can say whatever you want, but sometimes people just don't want to be associated with it. And when they don't want to be associated with it, you run off like a fucking little baby and whine that I'm being canceled, which you're not. It's just that maybe you're not that funny, or maybe you're not that intelligent. That's what it comes down to.
Right. Yeah, I expect better from him. I didn't watch it, but that's disappointing.
And there were some funny parts, but I just felt like it was one of those things where it was like he was going to come out and say, just like, again, I was talking about earlier in the show, this fucking idiot Aaron Rodgers, guy was a quarterback. Unbelievable. I mean, just a great player. And he was really beloved through the league. He really nothing bad to say about him. Now, all of a sudden, now I'm watching, it's ESPN, which is a place you're supposed to be watching sports. And this guy's bringing up the Jeffrey Epstein client list. And he's doubling down on what he said in a way. And instead of apologizing to Jimmy Kimmel today, he droned on for 6 minutes while one idiot on his left sitting, this guy's in a black tank top, kind of like, you could tell he's partially uncomfortable. You could tell he's partially trying to bro up with Aaron Rodgers and this other idiot who's on the right, who just stares into the camera like a robot. Aaron Rodgers is going on for 6 minutes, and you're just like, oh, dude, this is really dumb what you're saying. No apology. He tried to still troll Jimmy Kimmel a little bit. And I'm like, man, I'm just trying to watch some sports. I don't want to see a battle with you and the Jeffrey Epstein list and Jimmy Kimmel, you fucking idiot. And that's what everything is turning into. Sports, politics, entertainment. Everything is a troll. Everything is getting onto somebody. And it's just really starting to get irritating.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unfortunate that we've come here. And it's like, people will at this point vote against the best interest because you just want to be on a side. It's so partisan, the abortion issue. You have a Jennifer in Texas who died because she didn't get the medical care that she needed. And that's going to continue to happen. And that happened way back months after Roe. That's crazy. That happened. But there are so many stories. They're going to come out. These families are processing and grieving. And once they're, get their wits about them, they're going to start speaking out. And we are going to hear about the women who are dying due to these abortion bans. And I just thought I'd throw that out there because that just bothered me because, people are like, they know that this is an awful thing. You tweet about it, and then you still have people in the comments going, well, she was overweight and fat and had diabetes and hypertension. She shouldn't have been pregnant anyway. And it's like, is this really? Like, are you for real right now? Are you even human? Who says that?
Yeah, I don't know if the internet has turned people into monsters. I don't know if people are always monsters, but now they have an outlet to be a monster. I don't know what it is. People are just making up shit. They're changing the narrative. They're gaslighting. They're doing all this stuff. And it really is, by the way, I got one more clip. We spoke to Stephen Holden last week, who is running against Elise. By the way, is he officially running, or does he?
We talked about that. I don't know if he has a primary to get through.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about an opponent. I think you said you tried to look and didn't see anyone.
I didn't. But Stephen Holden is attempting, or he is running against Elise Stefanik in New York. Elise Stefanik was just on Meet the Press, a show that Tim Russert used to run that he clearly no longer runs because this Kristen Welker is now the host. And another disappointing non-pushback on Elise Stefanik talking about January 6th and the horrific, awful prisoners of that day who deserve to be in jail and probably longer than what they're serving. She was asked about January 6th, and here's how she tried to gaslight everybody.
Because the American people, they deserve transparency and accountability.
A lot to unpack there. Of course, the White House has said that Hunter Biden is acting unilaterally on the issue of election integrity, though. As you know, Trump took his case to court more than 60 times that there was fraud. He didn't win. But I want to get back to this key question. Do you still think it was a tragic day? Do you think that the people who stormed the Capitol should be held responsible to the full extent of the law?
By the way, go back to what she asked. Do you still think it was a tragic day? Because at one point she said that it was a tragic day. And just like all these fucking lunatics, 2, 3, 4 years later are completely in the tank for this fucking idiot.
Key point. Because she changed.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the delay is on this.
I have concerns about the treatment of January 6 hostages. I have concerns. We have a role in Congress of oversight over our treatments of prisoners. And I believe that.
You want to stop? We should stop. You're right. I'm done too.
Done. Stop it. They're not. That's so disrespectful to the actual hostages being held around the world. Like, what the fuck is that?
That is crazy, is what that is, to say that people, when you look at the footage of that day over and over and over again, and you're telling me that these people were not animals, you're telling me that it was not coordinated. There were threats of death, and there were threats of violence.
There was a nooses,
zip ties. And, I've actually talked to people about this who were on the other side, and they're like, yeah, big insurrection. What guns did you see? First of all, it turned out that there were guns there. So there were some guns that were at that place. But again, if you're not only are people are not acknowledging that this election was fair and not right, they're not acknowledging that that day was not violent. that it wasn't even caused by Donald Trump. It wasn't even caused by the people who were there. It was caused by other people. They have 900 stories about it. And this woman, who appears to be an intelligent woman and at one point seemed to be somebody that had her wits about her, who said that that day was a disgrace. And there's many others. I think, Lana, we had Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Called him out. 2 days later, he's praising Donald Trump. Kevin McCarthy called him out. Then he's at Mar-a-Lago a couple days later. Mitch McConnell said it was awful. Yeah. Then it was time to impeach him. I'm like, fuck that. So that's why I go back to that appeals court today. If it was the same Republican Senate, would they impeach Donald Trump if he shot somebody?
They'd say that the person got in the way of the bullet.
That should have been the question to the attorney. He said, okay, so you're telling me that, let's say there is a Senate that does not impeach him. Are you saying now that he should be found not guilty, or he should not be arrested, or no criminal charges should be pressed against him because a Senate found him not guilty for having somebody, a SEAL Team 6 member, murder one of his political opponents?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Well, we played all the clips, so that must mean we're close to the end of the show.
Yay.
1 hour and 30 minutes.
No offense.
No offense. I think we offended Owen Benjamin at one point, or his highlights.
Owen's a friend of the show.
No, he loves us. We love him. Didn't MLK preach to end violence in that church? Is that true, Lana? Do you know anything about that?
Even if he didn't, it's a church, so of course. So, but what he's trying to say is, again, he's going in line with, like, Biden is, the one who's at war, and he's the one that's being violent when he's actually trying to stop this. Like,
is that what Owen Benjamin highlights is trying to say?
Isn't that what he's trying to say? Because
I don't know, because
he's trying,
or maybe he's just asking on a separate.
I think it has to do with the protesters, right? Saying,
Maybe.
Ceasefire. So they're saying ceasefire to end the violence. So didn't Martin Luther King say that as well? But that's not what we agree that we want a ceasefire. It's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that it's not Biden who is at war. It's not.
No.
War. America's not at war.
Two separate countries, and you're blaming the American president. Now, of course, the American president is going to have some influence, but as Lana just said, and as Joe Biden himself said, he's quietly working, because he's not out there, and he doesn't do this braggadocious thing. He doesn't need the adulation. He doesn't need praise like that child that you people want to fucking make the president again, who's going to eventually fuck over you and fuck over your family, and you're going to be like, what did we do? But no, he'll find a way to gaslight you into thinking it was still the Democrats who did it. So what fucking difference does it make?
Absolutely. Biden, Trump will come in and be like, how y'all like them low insulin prices? The ones that he didn't lower.
Correct. Yeah. How about the new bridges going up?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's wrong?
And then finally, follow the money, guys. Come on. Or follow the money. Come on, guys. I don't know what that was in reference to. I apologize because I did not see those comments as we were talking about it. We were so immersed in our intelligence and figuring out this world. And
did you read that he doesn't patronize liberals to the degree that you supposed allies do?
But that's how I responded to that. I said, you absolutely do. I said, that's what the Republican and the MAGA side are the kings of trolls. They're the kings of patronizing. They're the kings of memes about,
and that's not what we're doing, right? You can, and that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans will be lockstep with each other through stupid bullshit Trump can say drink bleach, and everyone's like, yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah, go freaking use the horse, whatever the fuck that they were telling them to take the horse stuff.
Ivermectin,
yeah, just all following along with it. Democrats are like, hold on, there's got to be a better way. Let's discuss this. Yes, we're all on board, but we do understand that young progressives they want too much too fast, right? Like, so we understand our differences, because you know why? We're diverse. Diversity brings differences. When you just got a whole bunch of old white men, there's no diversity. You all got one way of thinking.
It's true. Kevin McCarthy admitted it himself that their party does not look like America, and that the Democratic Party does. And you know what?
McCarthy said that.
Yes, Kevin McCarthy said it. And you know what? We may, or I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say me, and Lana can take her own stance on this. But I may sound patronizing at times, but I will say that we love you. We're just trying to help you. That's all. And it's probably just, it's tough love. It's tough love.
It to us too, especially with younger voters. I do it to my kids. Like, yay, pay attention. You just want you to pay attention and do the right thing, which Republicans don't do, because you're so busy in a cult that the Republicans are going, what is that Social Security? Because they keep telling you and you keep ignoring them. They keep saying, we're taking your Social Security, Owen. You better tell your parents.
I wonder how old Owen is, because if he's 60, 61, 62.
They said that they are. Google it. They're not. What are you get off of Fox News, because they're not. Fox News is not showing you what they're actually doing out here, what they're actually saying, because these things, you think Democrats are lying, because every time you write something, Republican will be like, that's not true. That's not true. You're lying. But it's like, Trump actually said that.
Yeah.
Trump actually said he walking in on teen girls. He said that. That's not a thing that we're making up. It came from his mouth that he likes naked teen girls.
I have no pleasure in reporting the fact that Donald Trump basically said that he would bang his own daughter if it wasn't his daughter. Anybody, I don't even have kids, but if you have children, what?
But they're running around talking about Joe Biden's a pedophile when you have a man who said that he wants to fuck his daughter.
Yeah, not to mention you also have a guy who
crazy.
Now there are some new reports on this. You want to talk about the Epstein list? By the way, this Aaron Rodgers today, it was so just. I actually go listen to it. If you go find it's like a 6-minute clip of this fucking moron trying to respond to Jimmy Kimmel. He mentions something about, well, I'm not MAGA. I'm not any of these things. And he keeps bringing up different groups. And one group he brings up is conspiracy theorists. And he goes, conspiracy theorists? Like, whatever it is you want to be. But I will say one thing about them is if you go back and look, most of the thing those conspiracy theorists have said in the past have turned out to be true. Name one fucking thing they're talking about. One. Name one thing. I don't know what he's talking about.
Absolutely cannot, right? Absolutely not. That's crazy. But we'll say it as it's true.
Well, there's a lot of COVID people who are convinced that some of the conspiracy theorists about COVID are 100% true. So I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know why they keep talking about this. It's bizarre that they keep talking about this COVID vaccine. It is beyond strange. I don't know. I don't have the mental. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe they're just smarter than I am, and I don't.
Nor do I. Do not have the mental anymore.
Lana.
Yeah.
Do you? Would you like to end the show helping anybody or giving any tough love, or is there anything else you would like to say?
Oh, I think I've given enough tough love on this show. I mean, I don't have any more. It's just frustrating.
Listen, if you're going to listen to anybody, just listen to Lana. You don't even have to listen to me.
Nah.
Listen to Lana, because she's not she's not going to come back at you on those comments.
No, I do that on Twitter. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's true.
I told someone today, he said, I forgot what he said to me. He told me to prove something because I was talking about Yennefer, the young woman who died because she wasn't given an abortion. And he's like, prove that's true. I said, prove that you're a human.
Yeah. Exactly.
I said, prove that you're a human. And I said, and prove that your mother's I said something about his mama and the woman who birthed him out of that rotten orifice or something. I said, man, that thing with 3,000 people looked at us like
that's tough love. But you're right. This Twitter or whatever the fuck you call it, it's just filled with these weird bots. And every time I post something, I don't get the same reactions you do because I don't have near the following. But it's always like I get a like. And it's from some weird bot or some, it's always, by the way, it's always some incredibly gorgeous girl who has 2 followers.
Yep. That's it. You're going to notice like there's like one Asian picture that they use over and over again. I'm like, and the doctors and the orthopedists too. And it'll be like a million orthopedists. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is weird.
And sometimes I get people that say they're following me and you're like, oh, it looks like somebody normal. You follow them back and then you're scrolling through your timeline and all of a sudden you see this, I mean, like as raunchy porn as you can see. I'm like, what? How the fuck did this come on? And then you follow back and I'm like, well, I just got tricked into following this person.
Yeah, or they'll DM you too. Like I ignore the DMs if I don't know them because they'll just come and they'll be like, hey, nice post or something. The minute you say thank you, they'll start trying to talk to you like,
or they'll spam you with something weird.
I'm not talking to you. I just delete that shit.
Yeah. Well, you respond to my post. That's all that, or to my DMs. Damn right. All right. So I want to ask, as I always do, are we having a show Thursday night? I was lucky enough to be on the Quest show. I was thrilled to be there.
Thank you. That was a great interview. If you have not seen it, jump on over to the Quest show and watch Brian and myself interview Stephen Holden, who is running against Elise Stefanik.
Yes. And she made an appearance on our show tonight. So are we, are you doing your show Thursday?
It's always touch and go. I think I am.
Well, as we say every time, just sit in front of your computer at 8 o'clock. She comes on. She doesn't wait 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. And then you could go do something else after 8:20. If it hits 8:21, then you can just say, I don't think she's coming on.
I'm tired, Brian. I can't even.
I know how you feel, Lana. I really do.
It's tough. And right now, I tell you, my son goes to work at 11. He'd be looking in my face to drop him off. So I got to get up at 10:30. Like, I'm tired.
Well, I feel you. Like I said, I don't know, man. This getting older shit is just not, it's not cool. Not cool at all. But Lana, you're the best. And if you don't see Lana on Thursday night, we will see her again on Tuesday.
I'm going to do some clips on there now since you reminded me that that's what I should be doing. I'm going to throw some on there because I just never do that.
That's what you need to do because it definitely works. But I want you also to like and subscribe to the show, please. It's been an hour and 42 minutes. We didn't
Oh, my God. It's goddamn marathon. I think this is the longest one so far.
By far.
Oh, my God. We got to put ourselves on a schedule.
Yeah, I know. Time gets away with us, but it gets away from us. I'll rely on you a little bit more on that. If you're just like, hey, we gotta cut this off. I mean,
okay, I will. You'll see me like this.
Yeah. If I see, if I see Lana sleeping on the show, that's my cue to say it's enough. All right. It might hurt my ego for a long time, but we'll be fine. All right. We'll see everybody next Tuesday.
All right. Bye. Bye, Owen.
Bye, Owen.